11 inches is a normal snow day in Syracuse. Someone commented that, and they're absolutely right. For those of you watching from upstate New York, from Buffalo, from Erie, from Marquette, 11 inches is Tuesday. It's not news. It's not dramatic. It's winter. But let me tell you what is news. What is dramatic? What deserves your attention even though you've lived through 100 winters? This isn't 11 inches and done. This is 11 inches today, another 12 tomorrow, another 8 the day after. This is cumulative. This is relentless. This is the kind of snow event that even Syracuse veterans need to take seriously. I want to ask you to take a moment to comment your city and state down below. The reason I'm asking for this is because I'm really tired of giving generic forecasts that treat everyone the same way. Syracuse doesn't need the same information as Atlanta, right? Someone who's been shoveling snow for 40 years doesn't need the same warnings as someone who's never seen snow in their life. So what I'm doing is creating custom forecasts specifically for the top 100 most commented locations. Real, useful information that's actually specific to your experience level and your situation. So if you could just drop a comment with your city and state, I'd really appreciate it. Let me start with the Syracuse perspective because someone mentioned they remember 1966 and 1993. Those were legendary storms. 43 inches in 66. Multiple feet in 93. 2017 was rough too. So when the weather service says you're getting another foot this week, you're not freaking out. You're rolling your eyes and grabbing your shovel. But here's what makes this event different, and I need even the veterans to pay attention. It's not one storm. It's a pattern, a blocking pattern that's going to sit over us for days, maybe a week, maybe longer. And that means lake effect snow doesn't turn off. It doesn't give you a break. It just keeps coming. Day 1, you shovel. Fine. Day 2, you shovel again. Annoying but manageable. Day 3, you're tired. Day 4, you're exhausted. Day 5, you're breaking. That's where we are. That's where we're headed. Tug Hill Plateau, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're the snow capital of the East. You get more snow than anyone. 2 to 4 feet this week. For you, that might be normal. But normal is still hard. Normal still requires preparation. Normal can still be dangerous if you're not careful. Watertown, Fort Drum area. Someone commented they served there in the early 90s and swore they'd retire somewhere warm. Now they're in Florida. I don't blame you one bit. Watertown winters are brutal. If you've earned your escape, enjoy it. Although from what I'm hearing, even Florida is cold right now. Gainesville went from 80 to 40 in 12 hours. Can't escape winter entirely, can you? But for those of you still in Watertown, still serving at Fort Drum, still living the lake effect life, you have my respect. This is hard country, beautiful but hard. And this week is testing even your endurance. Buffalo. Someone commented thanking God they're just southwest of Rochester where a few inches fall instead of a foot or more. Smart positioning. The lake effect snowfall gradients are incredibly sharp. You can drive 5 miles and go from 2 inches to 2 feet. Geography is everything. Now let me talk to the people who are not veterans, who are experiencing this for the first time or don't have decades of experience. Someone from Iowa commented that they got 4 inches and still made it to work. Simple, really, slow down, plan accordingly, that's solid advice. But there's a difference between 4 inches and 40 inches. There's a difference between a few hours of snow and multiple days of continuous snow. Detroit had that massive pileup on I-75 yesterday, multiple vehicles. Eastern Michigan had whiteout conditions that caused a semi-truck to crash off an overpass and burst into flames. In Iowa, at least one person died in a 14-car crash. These aren't hypothetical dangers. These are things that happened in the last 24 hours. So yes, slow down, yes, plan accordingly, but also know when not to drive at all. When visibility is 0, when roads are covered, when plows can't keep up, staying home is the smart choice. Someone made an excellent safety point in the comments that I really want to emphasize. They said, for safety in a snowstorm, don't wear white, try red, and add reflective clothing, especially at night. This is genuinely life-saving advice that everyone needs to hear. If you're going to be outside in a snowstorm for any reason, Wearing white or gray clothing makes you essentially invisible. Drivers can't see you. Snowplow operators can't see you. You need to wear bright colors that really stand out against all that white snow. Red, orange, yellow, anything that creates strong contrast. And reflective gear is absolutely critical, especially if you're going to be out when it's dark. This kind of visibility could literally be the difference between life and death. Now let me explain what's actually happening meteorologically, because understanding this helps you make better decisions. Lake effect snow is occurring simultaneously across all 5 Great Lakes: Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, Ontario, all of them producing snow at the same time. That's unusual. That requires specific conditions to all line up perfectly. And we're getting what's called double fetch in multiple locations. Fetch is the distance air travels over water. Longer fetch equals more moisture equals heavier snow. Double fetch means air crosses one lake, picks up moisture, then crosses a second lake, picks up even more moisture, then dumps it all as snow. We're seeing double fetch from Huron to Erie to Ontario. We're seeing it from Superior into northern Michigan. That's why some areas are getting absolutely destroyed, while others 50 miles away see much less. The temperatures are brutal. Not just cold, brutal. Air temperatures in the teens and 20s. But with 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, wind chills are dropping to 0 or below. In some locations, -10 to -20. Someone commented that even down in Elkton, Maryland, they're experiencing high winds. No snow, but very high winds. That's because this weather system is massive. It's affecting 50 million people across the Midwest and Northeast. The wind is doing 2 things. First, it's driving the lake effect snow. Cold air flowing over warm lake water at high speed picks up moisture rapidly. Second, it's creating ground blizzards. Even when snow isn't falling from the sky, existing snow gets picked up and blown around. Visibility drops to 0 instantly. Someone watching the news broadcast commented that when the reporter was on camera, you couldn't see anything. Visibility dropped completely. That's not exaggeration, that's reality. One minute you can see, the next minute you can't. That's when accidents happen. Let me address some of the skeptical comments because they raise valid points. It's winter and it's snowing. Oh no, I get the sarcasm. For snow country residents, this is normal. Media sensationalizes everything. Headlines scream brutal blast when it's just winter doing winter things. But here's the thing, even normal can be dangerous. Syracuse gets this every year. That doesn't make it safe. Familiarity breeds complacency, and complacency kills. Every winter, experienced drivers die in accidents because they thought I've driven in snow 1,000 times. Until the one time they don't make it. Why are they suddenly trying to over-dramatize every time it snows in blue states? Look, I don't care about politics. Snow doesn't care about politics. What I care about is that yesterday, someone died in a 14-car pileup in Iowa. A semi-truck burst into flames in Michigan. Those are real tragedies, not political talking points. The warnings exist because even though this is normal winter for the region, it's still dangerous. The news coverage might be sensationalized, but the danger is real. Someone commented that the reporter in the video looks adorable all bundled up. She does, but she's also demonstrating something important. She's dressed properly for the conditions, multiple layers, face covered. That's what you need to do if you're going outside. Now, let me talk about what comes next, because this lake effect event is just the first chapter of January. We have a major pattern change coming. Right now, high pressure along the West Coast is bringing warm, dry conditions. California, Nevada, Arizona, you're well above average temperature-wise, but that pattern is breaking down. The jet stream is going to dip deeply along the West Coast. When that happens, Pacific storms start moving inland. They cross the Rockies and move into the central United States. That means storm after storm for the plains, the Midwest, the South, the East. Snowstorms, ice storms, severe weather, all of it possible depending on where you are and how each storm tracks. Someone from Central Texas asked when they'll get snow. You need the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, to go negative with a block in the Atlantic for snow to reach you reliably. That pattern might set up mid to late January. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible. Someone else commented that there's still no real winter for Texas. I hear your frustration. When you want snow and don't get it, that's disappointing. But be careful what you wish for. When Texas gets snow or ice, the entire state shuts down. You don't have the infrastructure to handle it. What would be an inconvenience in Buffalo becomes a crisis in Dallas. Colorado, someone asked if there's any hope for snow this year. Mountains are getting pounded. Denver and the Front Range are warm and dry. That changes when the jet stream dips. Patience, your turn is coming. UK, someone asked for some of our snow because weather has been boring there. I'll see what I can do. Although, I'm not sure boring weather is actually a bad thing. Boring is safe. Boring is predictable. Boring lets you go about your life. Exciting weather sounds fun until you're stuck at home for a week because roads are impassable. Now, practical advice for different groups. For Syracuse veterans who've seen it all, don't get complacent. Yes, you know how to handle snow, but continuous snow for multiple days wears you down. Pace yourself with shoveling. Check your roof load. Help your neighbors who might not be as capable as you. Your experience is valuable. Share it. For people new to snow or with limited experience, listen to the veterans. When they tell you not to travel, believe them. When they tell you to slow down, actually slow down. Don't overestimate your abilities. Don't underestimate the conditions. For truckers, someone made an excellent point. When roads are bad, truckers should be given deadline leeway. No load is worth your life. If conditions are too dangerous, park it. Your safety matters more than any delivery schedule. For employers, let people work from home when weather is dangerous. Let people stay home when travel is hazardous. Deadlines can be adjusted. Lives cannot be replaced. For air travelers, expect delays. Lots of delays. 10,000 flights were delayed Monday. That's going to continue Tuesday, possibly Wednesday. Build in extra time. Be patient. The delays are for safety. Better delayed than dead. For everyone, have emergency supplies. Food, water, medications, batteries, 3-day minimum supply. If you lose power, how will you stay warm? If you're snowed in, how will you eat? Plan ahead. Spiritual grounding, because in hard times, this is foundation. Multiple people commented with prayers and blessings. Thank you for that. That's community. That's caring for each other. Someone shared 1 Peter 5:8-11. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. Be sober and vigilant in winter means be prepared and be aware. Don't be complacent, don't take unnecessary risks. But also trust that suffering is temporary. Winter ends, spring comes, God's grace sustains us through difficulty. Before I let you go, I want to ask for your help with something that's going to benefit everyone watching. If you could take just a minute to comment down below with your city and state, I'm planning to create custom forecasts specifically for the 100 cities that get mentioned the most. The thing is, Syracuse doesn't need the same kind of information that someone in Atlanta needs, right? Veterans who've been shoveling snow for 40 years don't need the same warnings as someone seeing their first real snowstorm. So, by telling me where you are, you're helping me give you information that's actually relevant to your situation and your experience level. And I'd really appreciate it if you could click that like button if this forecast was helpful to you. I know, it seems like such a small thing to ask, but here's the reality of how this works. When a video gets more likes, YouTube's algorithm shows it to more people in the same area. So your one simple click could be the reason your neighbor finds out about what's coming in time to prepare. You might literally be saving someone from making a dangerous decision because you took 2 seconds to click a button. That's pretty powerful when you think about it. If you haven't subscribed yet, I really hope you'll take a second to do that. This weather pattern isn't going away after today. It's evolving constantly. And I'm going to be here every day with new updates as things develop and change. You don't want to miss important information when the forecast shifts, and the easiest way to make sure you see these updates is to subscribe so they show up in your feed. There's also a bell icon next to that subscribe button, and if you click that, you'll get notifications pushed to your phone or computer whenever I post something new. That means if I need to put out an emergency update because conditions are getting worse, you'll know about it immediately instead of finding out hours later. In weather situations like what we're dealing with right now, that kind of immediate notification can make a real difference. And here's one more thing I'd really encourage you to do. Think about the people in your life who might need this information but might not be watching. Maybe you've got an elderly parent or relative who doesn't keep up with weather news very closely. Maybe you've got a friend or family member who drives a long distance for work and needs to know what the roads are going to be like. Maybe you just know someone who has a habit of not paying attention until it's too late. Send them a link to this video. Forward it in a text message, post it on your Facebook, however you communicate with people. Get this information to them, because the weather information I'm sharing here only actually helps people if they see it. Alright, let me bring this all together and give you the essential information you need to remember. Lake effect snow is going to keep falling throughout this entire week. If you're in Syracuse, Watertown, Buffalo, Erie, or any of the other cities in those heavy snow bands, you're looking at 2 to 4 feet of total snow by the time this pattern finally breaks. Yes, you've seen this before. Yes, you know how to handle it. But don't let that familiarity make you careless, because this is still serious, dangerous weather. The cold is going to be absolutely brutal. And with these wind chills, being outside for any length of time is genuinely hazardous. Travel is going to be extremely difficult and in some cases, completely impossible. There's a major pattern shift coming after this current system moves through. January is shaping up to be extremely active with multiple storm systems forecast to move through over the coming weeks. So here's what I need you to do. Get yourself prepared right now if you haven't already. Check on your neighbors, especially the ones who might need some extra help. And please stay informed by keeping up with the forecast updates as they come out. To all you Syracuse veterans out there, and I'm talking to Buffalo, Erie, Watertown, all of you who've been through this year after year, you really are the backbone of snow country. Your experience matters so much. Your resilience is genuinely inspiring to people who are newer to dealing with winter. But please stay safe out there. Don't let all that experience make you careless. And for everyone else who's watching, I really encourage you to learn from these veterans. They've survived storms worse than this one. They're going to survive this one too. And you know what? You're going to survive it too. You've got this. God bless all of you. Please stay warm out there. Please stay safe. And I'll see you in the next update with more information as this situation continues to develop.